Right. Hey guys, it's Marina with Artworthy Life, where I teach Christ-centered art journaling that gets you into God's Word every day. And welcome to day 12 of our October Doodle a Day Challenge. If you haven't been with us the whole time, it has been such a blast. We've gone over so many different kinds of doodles that are all inspired by this fall season, the autumn harvest season, and I've been loving them. If you missed yesterday's, definitely try to catch the replay. But here's the kicker. There is a free doodle tracer every day this month. So download the tracer even if you miss the live broadcast, because you can download it, save it, and then watch the replay later. But if you miss the download, it changes every day, so you'll miss the tracer. So don't miss it. Make sure you grab it today. And if you're on YouTube, it's in the description of the video. If you're on Facebook, it's also in the description of the video, or it's at the top of my page. And if you're on Instagram, just click my bio. That link in the bio will take you straight to the download. Good morning, Bonnie. So glad to see you. And it looks like Lydia has been waiting on YouTube. So thanks for being on, Lydia. And thank you all for joining me. So today I'd like to go ahead, as usual, and start with some scripture. So we're going to keep reading in the Sermon on the Mount. And we just read the Lord's Prayer yesterday. So if you missed that episode, go back and watch it. But it was really fun to read through the Lord's Prayer, which just happens to be right in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount. So it's very, very... All right, we're going to continue in verse 16. Yes, we're going to read from verse 16 to 18. So this is Matthew chapter 6. Moreover, when ye fast, be not as the hypocrites of sad countenance, for they disfigure their faces, that they may appear unto men to fast. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou fast, anoint thine head and wash thy face, that thou appear not unto men to fast, but unto thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. So we do all this to glorify God. It's really amazing how much God rewards us for things that we do just for him. So I love that about fasting, that teaching on fasting. All righty. Hi, Bonnie. She says hello. Hello, Anita. Welcome. I'm so glad you're able to join us today. Hope you've been having a good week. All righty. So today we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, here's the thing. Today's doodle, I've been really wanting to do something like this for a long time. I probably will do more of it at some point, but it was inspired by cotton, harvesting cotton during this season. And the reason I chose that, if you didn't already see my post, is because my Nana used to pick cotton. Now, how many of you guys actually have family members that used to pick cotton? You can put a little hand in the comments if you did. Hi, Valerie. She says she's just stopping by. Hello. I'm so glad you're on here. That's great. Hello, Pam. Thanks for being on. So, yeah, how many of you guys put a little hand in the comments who have family members who pick cotton? So my nanny used to pick cotton. She was quite poor during the time of the Depression. And so her family picked cotton. She picked cotton from the time she was a little tiny all the way through her childhood. And didn't get paid very much. They used to say they get a penny a toe sack, which is like the big old potato sack things that super, super long. And they got a penny for it. And even back then that was, pennies. Anyway, but it was not very much. And she worked really, really hard. But what's amazing is even though that was really hard for her, and she really, ended up with bloody fingers and was working in the middle of the winter, different things like that. Or maybe not winter, but like super cold mornings where it's icy on the ground. Anyway, the point is she still liked cotton in general. Like she loved cotton artwork, and she liked cotton decor, like little pieces that look like cotton boll, or taking little cotton bolls and putting them into vases for fall decor and things like that. So she still loved it. And I think that's really beautiful that something that was so such actually a hardship for her was still like a fond memory for her. So every time I see cotton bowls, and especially Hobby Lobby, they have tons of cotton decor usually. I always think of my Nana. And so today I thought I'd do this painting in honor of her, especially since we're in the fall season. So we're going to do a really cute little jar of cotton. And let me go ahead and flip Instagram around. I know you guys can see my tracer already, but download the tracer if you don't already have it. Let me flip Instagram and we'll get started. This will be fun. So here is, oops, get that out of the way for you guys. Oops. Still working this out, guys. Nelda says her parents were sharecroppers. They picked cotton and I rode on the tar sack as my mother dragged me behind her as a baby. So you call it a tar sack, T-A-R? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But my Nana always said toe sack. I don't know if that's the same word or maybe it's pronounced differently. But that's so funny because same thing. She used to like drag her siblings behind her. She was the oldest of 10. Wow, Nelda, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So where are your parents from? Are they from the South? Because that's where a lot of cotton crops are. Tell me where they're from. That would be such an interesting thing if they're from the same area. Okay, so here's our little tracer, and we are going to start on this painting. So you guys know we are on a blue day. Every third day is turquoise. We're going to incorporate some turquoise. And so this jar is going to be a turquoise jar. And obviously it's inspired by a Boll mason jar. But I thought it'd be cute to have it say fall instead of ball. Isn't that adorable? What do you guys think? Isn't that cute? Put like a blue heart in the comments if you like that idea. Nelda says we were in Tupelo, Mississippi. Oh, Mississippi. Okay. Because my Nana, so Mississippi's almost the same area. But my Nana was from Arkansas. So lots of cotton there. Okay, let me show you guys where we're at. So here's some beautiful turquoise paintings we have to inspire our color scheme for today. Bonnie has a blue heart in the comments. Yay, she's excited for blue. And then here's a blue truck or turquoise truck. So that's going to be our inspiration for the ball jar. Anita left a blue heart in the comments. How fun. Good morning, Terry. I'm so glad to see you on. How are you doing today? Okay, so let's see. We're going to get started with these colors. And first off, we need to do our tracer. So let me grab my graphite paper, grab your tracer. We're going to trace this down onto the page. And we do really want the lines to be nice and faint today because the cotton is going to be white. The jar is going to be transparent. So we want our lines to be not very harsh today. So I'm going to go ahead and slide my graphite paper up underneath this page. Oh, by the way, anybody notice what color my shirt is today? Believe it or not, I did not do that on purpose. I told you I like this color though. What's funny is I love this color. And I only have like 3 things that are actually this color, maybe 4. I guess I don't wear it as much as I just use it. I love teal blue. Okay, so here we go. Let me make sure my graphite paper is smooth. And then all these lines I'm going to trace out, but I'm going to keep all of it real faint. So I'm just not going to press very hard onto the paper because I want to make sure my cotton looks very light and faint when I start painting it in. I'm going to be a little bit more careful with the jar. So obviously the jar, we want it to look nice and smooth. So I'm going to take more time tracing that out. Oops, I'm slipping on my other paintings. Twyla put a little farmer emoji in the comments. That's so cute. Hi, Twyla. Good morning. I'm so glad you're watching today. And Leslie Ann says, something came up. We'll need to watch on the replay. Oh, okay. I'm so glad you popped down for just a little bit. And hi, Valerie. I can't remember if I said hello to you. Thanks for stopping by. I'm glad you're here for just a little while. Okay, so we're tracing this out. And then make sure you trace out the background circle here. And then on the lettering, super straightforward. You may want to go a little darker on the lettering just so it's easy to trace later on. And then we'll do these stems. And you could also freehand these cotton bolls if you're real confident. You could freehand them. They're not overly complicated to paint. But I wanted to make sure you guys still had some good tracers to use. even though this is going to be real straightforward pretty much. All right, I think I've got most of that traced. I'm going to take a peek to make sure. All right, I think I got it. Yep, there we go. So there's our tracer, ready to go. And you can go ahead and get your paints out and your paint brushes. So what we're going to use today is the same teal we've been using all month so far. And that is a combination of the Azurite Blue in my Komorebi watercolor set. Azurite Blue, and I have some here on my palette. Let me show Instagram. And so I'm going to get quite a bit first. And then also Peak Green makes it a little bit more teal colored, and I like that deeper teal color. So I'm going to have that mixed up and ready to go. And then we're going to start with some softer colors. So let me come over here to an empty spot. And I'm going to start with basically light tan. So we're going to use a little bit of yellow, a little bit of brown, and I'm going to water it down. So whatever you have that's a super light brownish yellow, that's what we're going to start with. And let me go ahead and start on the cotton bolls themselves. Let me make sure you guys can all see. Okay, backing this up a little bit. Trying to make sure both cameras can see. Moving that way. Okay. So, Teresa says, I finally caught you live. Oh, yay. Good morning, Teresa. I'm so glad you're on. How is Fia? Is she doing well? Oh, my goodness. Your new profile picture is gorgeous. I cannot handle that. It just looks very angelic and beautiful. It's the kind of picture that will look good for years. I think you did really well. Okay, so we're going to start with the cotton, the white of the cotton. Now the cotton is white, but if we just leave it white, you won't be able to see it. So we're just going to give it some shading using the light tan color. And that's basically brilliant yellow and brown, but it's so watered down that it really doesn't matter what you use, what kind of yellow you use. So I'm just going to go around the outsides of the cotton bolls, kind of along the curves, and then down next to the, I wonder what the little pointy things are called. Kind of like a shell? I don't know. The little things that the cotton boll is sitting in. I don't know what those are called. Sometimes I feel like I need to do a vocabulary lesson before I start painting so I can tell you guys what I'm doing. But there's, on the little bloom, it has little leafy things that turn brown. Whatever those are called, you're going to put some shading down by them because obviously that's going to create a little shadow. So this isn't going to take very much. So see that I'm just kind of touching the rest of it. Now I'm going to take a clean wet brush. Oh, by the way, I'm using my number 3 round paintbrush, and it looks like this compared to my hand, so you know what size it is. And I'm going to take a clean wet brush and kind of fade that into the rest of the cotton right there. So you can just kind of scrub it out into the rest of the cotton just like that. And it will give it some good shape like that. And we'll come in and do a little bit more with a smaller brush. So now I'm going to use my teeny tiny brush and actually add a little bit darker brown. Let me get a little darker brown. And then we'll go along the edges, basically where the tracer is, to give it some more shading, and then down next to those little petal thingies, whatever those are called. And see, we've traced this out with pencil, but once I erase my pencil marks, it won't be there. So think about, okay, I need to have my shape still present when my pencil marks are gone. So sometimes you'll have to go back over your pencil marks with paint so they actually show. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Okay, good. Aw, Sophia is great. Yay, I'm so glad. You're welcome, Teresa. Okay. Yeah, does your family have any cotton pickers in the family? I don't know if I've ever heard whether you do or not. So my Nana was a cotton picker. And that's why I always love to do cotton paintings, but I haven't really been able to do very many of them. So it's kind of fun to do a simple one today. So going around the border with brown, then down in the little areas where there would be a little bit more shading, and then definitely along the edges, like that. On the edges and there. Okay, and then we'll leave that, let that dry and kind of rest while we work on the rest of the painting. So we're going to start with the stems of the cotton, and we're going to start with a light brown. So, and kind of think about the browns we've already been using. I'm going to show you guys this tree again. You can see the trunk of this tree is that light grayish brown, and it's a similar color to the deer that we had. And so I'm going to use a brown that complements those colors so that our paintings remain consistent. So to get that brown, I'm basically using number 52 brown and a little bit of black. My number 52 has a lot of red from yesterday. So I'll have to clean it up a little bit. Okay, so we'll just use a little bit of black to basically make it more smoky colored or more dusty colored, I guess is the way to say that. Oh, Teresa says, I don't think so, but Dad always sang the song Cotton Fields Back Home. And I don't think I know that song. How do we not know that song? That's crazy. We'll have to look that one up. Hey, Jackie, good morning. I'm so glad you're joining us. I'm so glad you're home. Welcome back. That's great. Are you following along today? Ooh, I haven't asked. Yeah, if anybody's following along, find a creative emoji to drop in the emojis, because I don't know if there's a cotton emoji. I don't even know if there's a mason jar emoji. Find something that you can put in the emoji comment with an emoji that's interesting that you think is inspired by today's painting, if you can find anything, if you're following along. It's always nice to know who's following along. Okay, so we're going to add some of these, I don't know what to call them, the little things that are holding the cotton together. And that is going to be that dark brown, kind of chocolatey brown. And then as I paint these in, as usual, I'm going to leave some white space and just pretend like I'm bad at coloring things in, and that'll make this look less stiff. So filling these in, and then on the ends of them, I'm using my smaller brush now. I switched to my smaller brush. I want the tips of these to be nice and dark. So I'm adding that transition as I go. Now I'm going to come down, and this little one right here is actually like closed. So if you're looking at your tracer and you're like, what is that? It's not a leaf. It's a closed cotton boll. So it's just totally brown. This one is. You can just paint the whole thing in. Need a bigger brush for that. I'm going to need a bigger brush. A bigger brush. Oh, Jackie says her grandparents picked cotton. It looks like Terry left a sticker. I can't see what the sticker is right now, but I'll have to see it later. How fun. She must have found something cute to post in the comments. So it means Terry's following along, right? And Jackie, your grandparents picked cotton, and is that a family that was in Arkansas or elsewhere? Okay, so we're filling this one in. I'm going to add a little bit more black to the bottom of it. Pam left 2 really cute leaves. She's following along. Yay! Awesome, Pam. I'm glad to see that. Okay, so we're just filling these in. These don't have to be very specific because it's just brown, basically. So I'm just kind of adding shading where there could be shading, and then leaving a little bit of white space behind. Okay, so now we're going to come down the jar. And as I come down, I'm going to let the brown cross over the threads of the jar just a little to show that the jar is transparent, even up into the neck of it like that. Oops, and I think I want to go lighter with this to start with. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. I'm going to take a clean wet brush and pull some of that color off. sweep it off kind of like that. I love how you can manipulate watercolors before they get totally dry. Okay, and now I'm going to water down my brown just a little because I think it's coming off a little too dark. And then I will paint this one in. So we're just doing like a base coat of brown on all these stems. And leaving a tiny bit of white space behind as we do that. Especially up here where the threads of the jar are, we're not going to paint it like straight through. You see how I'm leaving little gaps there? And that'll make sure that those are, they kind of look like the jar is there. It's like the jar isn't totally see-through, but just a little bit. Jackie says Oklahoma and Texas. Ah, okay. So Oklahoma and Texas. And you know, my family, so anybody that doesn't know, Jackie, her maiden name is the same as my Nana's maiden name, which was Owens. And so we're probably long lost relatives of some kind. And in fact, there's quite a few ladies in the Artworthy Journal Club who have, who are either married into or somehow have the name Owens with an S, which is very unusual because I've heard the name Owen quite a bit. And oftentimes when I say, oh, my Nana's name was Owens, people say, oh, Owen, I'm an Owen. And I'm like, no, 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 with an S, it has an S. So it was wild when we opened up the journal club how many of us shared that name. It's kind of crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill in each of these. You can see I'm just kind of putting a base coat of brown and then coming down the stem like that. So just a base coat all the way across all these little stems. You could definitely paint these all in one, you know, swift wash of dark color, but I like for even small paintings to have a little bit more dimension than that. So a little bit more going on. And that's why it's nice to start with a lighter coat and then come back in with your shading. That'll also help me differentiate the petals. I don't know what to call these. I'm going to call them petals. Differentiate all these little crunchy brown petals from the next one, like that. Alrighty, so that's going to start drying. And so basically I'm going to work in the areas that haven't totally, or that have totally dried. And I'm going to just work with a darker brown and we're going to start filling in some shading. So starting with this one, well, this one I worked in last, so it's actually a little bit wet. You can put a little bit of brown in it. But, okay, so I'm going to let that one dry. And we will go to, this one's dry. So we'll come to this one on the right. And I'm especially trying to put more dark color toward the tips of these. And then let it kind of transition into a lighter brown. On the tip of each of these. And I'm using my brush to make that tip nice and pointy. Have you guys ever seen a cotton boll up close, like a real one? They're super pointy. Apparently, they're sharp, really sharp when you're actually picking cotton. So my Nana used to say you could cut your fingers on them. And like when it gets cold out and you're harvesting it, she said, you know, it's hard on your hands because your hands will get all cut up. Of course, you can wear gloves, I'm sure, but I don't know if it really helps when you're trying to meticulously sort of pick them apart and pull the cotton out. We went to a harvest festival in Arkansas. We used to always love to go to the harvest festival when we were in the area. And it was in the same area my Nana grew up. So they always had lots of cotton themed artwork, and sometimes they'd have cotton you could pick up and hold. So as a little kid, it was really fun to go there and see everything they had. That was in the Corning, Arkansas area. Do you guys know Corningware. Does anybody have Corningware? And did you know that Corningware is actually from Corning, Arkansas, which is where my Nana is from, or that area? Teresa says the song is actually called Cotton Fields. Oh, fun. Okay, so we'll have to look that up. I'm surprised I haven't heard of it, since that totally would be perfect for us to know. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing it. Anita says they still do. Oh, are you talking about the festival, the Fall Fest? Let's see. It was called the Corning Festival, right? I forget what it was called. Harvest Festival, maybe? Fall Festival? It's like it was at the Corning Fairgrounds, I think. It's a little fairgrounds. It's really cute. And she says yes. Oh, good. Are you planning to go this year? I know a lot of stuff got canceled last year, but things seem to be opening up. Harvest Festival. Okay, Anita says Harvest Festival. That's very cool. So maybe we need to plan an outing to the Harvest Fest. That would be fun. I love Harvest Festivals. It's like once I've gotten over the fact that summer has ended and I get into the mood, I love Harvest Festivals. They've always got beautiful, decor for sale and artwork and delicious fall foods and everything. Anita says she lived there for over 20 years. That's right. Yep, I remember you're from the same area. It's so amazing. It's so cool because most people wouldn't know exactly where that is. It's really neat that you do know. I love that. I love that little festival. So cute. I have a picture. Probably one of my favorite pictures of me and my Nana. I have a picture of us at the fall festival. It's really cute. And we're sitting right next to a pile of, or a bale of hay and a pile of pumpkins and a little sign. I think there was a little sign that said Fall Fest or something like that. Really cute picture. I'll have to go back and find it. So you can see I'm just adding some dark shading kind of on the tips of each of these. And now I'm going to go down the left side of each of these little stems and add a little bit darker brown to darken those up just a little bit. You can tell it doesn't take a whole lot, just a little down the side to darken them up like that. You guys should tell me, those of you who've been watching the Doodle a Day, tell me which one has been your favorite so far, because I'm still taking requests and I got some feedback from a couple of people, including my grandma, on what should come next. But tell me what has been your favorite so far of all the doodles. We've done quite a few. I'll have to see which ones you comment about. Tell me which ones you like the best. Today is day 12. If you haven't heard, today is day 12. So there's been 12 so far if you include today's. Teresa says some friends of ours threw a harvest party every year and everyone would dress up for their costume contest. One year my family dressed up as the Von Trapp family and sang Edelweiss. I think we were all there but Gina. Wow, that's so cool. Wow. So you would all dress up? And was that in Eugene? How fun. That sounds way fun. Thinking that needs to happen again. I have some fall kind of harvesty costumes that are like pioneer looking, which work really well for fall time. And also seems like we used to dress up like I used to have an Indian outfit, like look like a little Native American girl. So fun. Okay. In Eugene or Springfield. Wow, that's so cool, Teresa. I love stuff like that. Sounds like a blast. All right, I'm adding a little bit of shading to each of these little cotton balls because the dark parts are so dark. I'm gonna add just a little bit more shading in the center of these kind of, on the outside of these, and then down where we added the shading before, but I'm using a darker brown and just kind of going along the edges and making the cotton stand out just a little bit more. And you notice I don't have to connect, like when I'm doing these little arches, I don't have to connect them. They can just kind of float in the air like that. Even like these little bumps, tink, 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 they don't even have to connect. You can just do a quick little arch, and your eye knows what you're doing, so your eye will connect the dots. Okay, so there's our little cotton bolls for now. Terry Watson again says, Miss Scarecrow needs a Mr. Scarecrow friend. Good vote, good vote. But you have to tell me what your favorite has been so far. Oh, Bonnie says her favorite has been the truck with the pumpkins. Oh, I'm so glad you liked that one. That one was really fun for me. You could tell I went for the truck almost immediately. I think that was our first blue painting. I just love vintage trucks, like old trucks, and painting them is really fun. So I went for that one like almost immediately. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and paint in the blue. So grab your teal, and I'm gonna use my smallest brush. Whoa, actually, now that I think of it, I need to not do that first. I'm gonna grab my bigger brush, a lighter teal. I'm gonna water down the teal I have mixed up. And what we'll do is put the blue of the jar in first. And that is going to be just basically a quick wash of teal. And I'm going to be careful as I'm crossing over the branches or the little stems, because I don't want to reactivate that blue. I can get away with doing it a little bit, but I don't want to do a lot of it. Oops. And I have a little bit of blue right there that came off the edge. Okay, and so I'm going to use watered down blue. Come down here. And then I'm going to leave white space on the front of the jar and kind of down the side of the jar. To create shine. Woo, sorry, I was having a hard time talking and painting at the same time. You could tell I was concentrating. Okay, so, and then I'm going to also go around the words and just leave a little white space behind, because I kind of want the words to have some white shine on them. So I'm going to paint around them some blue, but leave some space behind. So see how that's not getting colored all the way in? Just a little. It doesn't have to be super particular. And then I'm going to leave some shine right here on the side there. And then we'll go around the bottom here and leave a little shine there. And then fill in the back. So just be careful as you're painting around the stems. Like I said, you don't want that color to bleed out into the blue. And there's the shine on the jar. So see, the little bits of shine is going to help the jar look more real. And next I'm going to take the darker blue and come in on the left-hand side of the jar and start painting in a little bit of darker blue. And that's going to give us that deeper shading. A little bit there and a little bit here. And a little bit here. And that darker shading is going to come down the jar on the left-hand side, like that. You can start to just kind of let that fade in a little bit, little by little by little. Also going to put a little bit on this side. And you can see where the rim of the jar is. I'm kind of letting the teal follow that rim all the way around. See? Ta-da! And then and then also on the bottom. Sorry, do you guys like my sound effects? You can tell when I'm like, okay, that worked. Ta-da! Let me look at Facebook, make sure I haven't missed any comments as they're coming in. Terry says, dear Scarecrow Pumpkin. Oh, I cannot choose. So she says, dear number 1, Scarecrow and Pumpkin, possibly a favorite. Awesome. I'm so glad you liked the pumpkin too, because that was one of my favorites. Hey, Grandma. Love you too. So glad to see you. Thank you for watching today. I'm so glad you caught me live. Yay! Way to go. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom of this jar. And as I paint in the bottom of this, I'm going to leave the edge of the jar light. So see that edge is not getting painted in? I'm having to turn my jar sideways so my hand can do that curve. And then I'm going to let that kind of fade into the rest of the bottom of the jar using a clean wet brush to push that color around. And then I can come around the back just a little bit. Do that other color. Ooh, look at this jar, you guys. I love it. I love it so much. Okay. You can tell I like stuff that's teal. This is cracking me up. I love it so much. Okay, we're going to fade in this color right here. I like to paint. I don't know why I get antsy and giggly if it's really, really turning out how I want it to, and this one is. Alrighty, I'm going to flip this upside down so I can follow the left-hand side of this painting and add a little bit more to the right-hand side of it. Do a little bit of blue on the left, on the right. This is actually the right, but it's upside down, so it's on my left, if that makes sense. And just kind of pull in those darker colors. Okay, let me flip this over. Yeah, that's looking great, you guys. Looking great. So pretty. All right, I'm switching to my smaller brush. And those of you that haven't noticed, I mentioned this earlier, but if you haven't already noticed, the jar is inspired by a Boll jar. Oh, Teresa says the jar looks so real. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. It's inspired by a Boll jar, but it actually says fall on it. And I thought that was really cute. I was like, I got to make this adorable. So it's inspired by those like mason Boll jars that are blue, but it says fall. So that's pretty cute for fall. Anita says, I love them all, but I guess the deer would be my favorite. Ah, I love that deer. It's very dear to me. No, it's a cute little animal face, and that's always endearing. Oh my goodness, I need to stop. Okay, I'm gonna paint some darker shading. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna paint, I got a bunch of hearts on Instagram. Thank you, I don't know who left those. Okay, I'm gonna add some darker shading on the left, and this is with my smaller brush. I'm having so much fun with this painting, you guys. I don't know why I'm so excited. This is how you can tell I'm an art nerd, because I'm totally nerding out over this painting right now. It's like, ah, it's turning out great. I like painting glass. It is fun to paint glass. To paint a picture of glass. I guess it would also be fun to paint glass, like to paint a glass jar. Hey, Terry, you do a whole bunch of glass art. Do you ever paint glass, like just paint the glass? Terry makes some gorgeous glass art. It's beautiful. It's like, yeah, what would you call that? Lawn decor and also home decor made out of beautiful teacups and pieces of, oh, what all do you use? You use plates and vases and candlesticks and all kinds of really beautiful stuff that she puts together. But do you ever paint the glass, like paint something on the glass or whatever? Do that? That would be kind of cute. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm adding dark shading on the rims of each of these little pieces of the jar, and that is going to make sure the jar, the dark shading of the jar matches the depth of the shading of the little, I almost said snowballs. They're not snowballs, the little cotton balls. So we are going to add enough dark shading that the whole painting is consistently deep in color. So I'm going to go along the back end of this jar. Oh, so pretty. Ah, I'm loving this jar. I'm loving this jar. I see new comments. Let me see. Oh, I can't see them yet. Why can't I see them? Oh, no. Okay, let me go back here. I'll go back to here. Go back to here. New comments. Oh, I don't know why I'm not seeing them. If you're on Facebook, for some reason, I'm not seeing your comment. Oh, there it was. It's not letting me scroll. Well, maybe I'll be able to see later. Technology, you guys. Technology is so fun. Also kind of annoying sometimes. Maybe I'll be able to see later. Whoa! Technology, you guys. Technology is probably an echo. Sorry. Oh my goodness. All right. So, well, anyway, hopefully the comments will pop up soon. I don't know why it's not giving me new ones. But if you're on Facebook, leave me some kind of a comment so I can see if it's coming through. And then maybe it will. Okay. So we're going to keep adding this darker shading as long as my Facebook will load. Oh, okay. So that was from Terry. She says, sometimes, not often do I paint it. Try to use glass already colored. It lasts longer. Oh, yeah, true. So like painted glass would chip at some point, I'm guessing. Oh, Terry has a cute little heart-shaped sticker, which I can now see because I have my other window up. Yay, how fun. She was the pumpkin too. I can't remember if I read that comment. That's really cool, Bonnie. Thanks for watching on Instagram. You guys are all over today. I couldn't tell if Lydia was still watching, but she was watching on YouTube. Alrighty, I'm going to come down the other side with this same darker blue. Oops, it's the same blue we've been using. I'm just using it a little darker, so less watered down with my super fine brush. I'm going to come up under this edge right here. And then I'm going to use a clean, wet brush to kind of push that color around. Alrighty. So now, look at that jar. Look at that jar. Ah, I love this jar. I'm going to put some shading down here on the back side so that that circle goes all the way around. And then I want to fill in the word fall. And if you're doing this painting, feel free to do the word ball if you want to do ball jar. You could even write out the whole thing, like write out ball, mason, something. What is it called? Something like that. But I thought it would be cute if the jar says fall, because it rhymes and it's a nod to the brand. like a fall pun. All right. I'm going to get just a little bit more teal mixed up here. Does anybody have a blue ball jar? We have several. I actually meant to grab it, and I forgot to grab it, but I meant to grab, I have a set of, it's maybe 1976 jars, ball jars. Anyway, they have a really cool patriotic symbol on them, obviously, because it's the 1776 anniversary. And a friend of mine gave them to me because they're teal. And I just was so amazed. So I have a whole set of them. And they have the nice flip top that is different from the screw top lid. It's a flip top with a little seal. So now I'm doing the lettering, but what I'm going to attempt to do, we'll see if it works, is I'm going to attempt to shade only one side so that the lettering actually ends up looking white or like embossed with blue shading. So it was fun this week in the Artworthy Journal Club. We did a whole lesson on how to do shading. And this is a little different from that because I'm trying to create like a three-dimensional type looking thingy. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to accomplish it on such a small painting. But that's kind of what I'm going for. We'll see how it looks. I don't know. So I'm basically putting blue on only one side. On the left side. So where I've traced it, I'm only going down the left side of each of those letters. And then I'm going to erase my pencil marks and see where that leaves me. There is fall. It's a little dark on the left side. I don't know if I like that. I mean, on the first letter. But it's getting the point across, I think. Look at that. How cute. How cute, how cute. Okay, I'm going to take my eraser and do some erasing. Usually I wait till afterwards to do this, but I want to see if there's any areas that need to be a little darker or more shaded before we totally wrap up this painting. Anything I've missed. And I like to do my erasing with a clean white eraser, and real lightly so that I don't mess up the painting. I'm just going to kind of gently rub that along there and erase it. And I think it's looking pretty good. So sometimes you erase and then you realize, oh, I didn't put any color on one side or something like that. Oh, there's a line there and I didn't fill that in or whatever. And that's what I'm looking for right now. Okay, let me dust this off. I have eraser marks everywhere, or eraser shavings everywhere. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm going to compare it to our other paintings. Here's the teal we have right here. And I think I can maybe go just a little darker. Let's see. Okay, here's our other painting. So this one's really light if you'll look at that compared to the others. So I'm going to come in and do just a little bit more shading on this, and then I think we'll call it good. So let's see if I can manage to accomplish that. Okay, I don't want to go too dark though, because this is a real nice soft looking painting. I'm going to get a little bit more brown and black. Mix that up together. I'm using my tiny little brush right now. And I'm just going to come into the points of each of these little cotton bolls and give it a little darker shading. Only where I've already put dark brown, I'm just adding a little bit more to the very ends. So I'm not adding any new shading, I'm just darkening up the little edges of the dark shading that's already there. A little bit more here, a little bit more here, on all the tips of these little cotton things. I need to look up the structure of a cotton boll. Whoops. Sorry, Instagram, you guys are off the page. And see what else says on Facebook. Oh, Jackie says have lots in boxes in storage. Oh, what was I asking about? Oh, she means the blue jars you do? Oh, how fun. You'll have to break those out for decorating for fall. That's kind of cool. I always decorate with teal in our bathroom. I just kind of figure out how to use teal for every season. So I have a lot of teal decor that is fall. Looks kind of like fall. And my jars that I have make a really great vase or whatever to use there. Okay, so all I'm doing is carrying this little bit darker brown down into the rest of the painting to make sure it matches the rest of my doodles. And I'm mostly putting this dark shading only on the one side, if you can tell. I'm just going down one side, giving it a little bit more. There's a little cotton boll that's starting to try to open. Okay, so see how that went a little darker? And then I'll do the same thing with my teal. Just add a little bit darker teal to the page. I'm actually going to mix in a tiny bit of black into my teal to make sure it is dark. but I don't want to go too dark with it. And all I'm going to do with this is very lightly add some shading where I've already got the darkest shading happening. So up under the rim of the jar, kind of in these darker areas, like that. See how I'm making sure I'm not spreading too much teal where I haven't already put it. I'm going to darken these areas up that already are dark. And that'll help. And I'm being careful as I go across the brown, not to blur it too much. And then also up underneath here, going a little darker again, a little darker here. And then coming down the other side. I'm going to clean my brush off. Now I have a clean wet brush with no new pigment, and now I'm just going to scrub out that pigment all the way down like that. So it doesn't need to go too dark. Mostly just kind of in the corners. And I'm going to scrub this out. Whoops. A little bit more. And I'm being real careful. You see that shine right there that I've left, that white shine? I'm going to be real careful not to cover that up. And we'll come around the bottom as well. And then also on the right-hand side, just to even it up. You can go along the bottom as well. Especially the front of the bottom here so that the jar looks rounded down there. And there we go. Alrighty, now I'm going to compare that again to our other paintings. Let me back this up just a little bit. And I haven't darkened the word fall because it was already kind of dark. So let me back this up so you guys can see, and make sure you can see all of the doodles all together. So here's everything we have that is blue so far. And tell me what you guys think. Whoops, here's one. And the last one. So we have 4 doodles so far that are all that turquoise color, incorporating some of that teal blue turquoise. And they're all slightly different, mostly because I had to mix the colors again. You know, it was not a straight color out of the palette. But that's actually kind of nice because then they're not just exactly the same color. So this one's a little bit more green. This one, these two are almost the same color, but this one's a little more blue. And then this one was very metallic looking. I added more gray to it, so it was a little bit more blue-gray. And then this one's more teal as well. But anyway, they all are close enough that they look fun, and they're gonna look really great next to all the other paintings that, that we've done as well. Alrighty, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone you think would enjoy it. And remember, we're doing this every day this month. So grab your tracer today for the fall jar, the cotton jar. And if you don't already have it, you should grab it now because it's going to change soon. And then we'll have a new tracer for tomorrow's doodle. So I hope you will join us. Alrighty, thank you guys again. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.